Hello there, good evening to you. Welcome to News Tonight. Aspirants today, we'll hear from some of the candidates who remain confident of securing victory in the March 2026 by-election, alongside analysis from a political analyst on what this development means for the party. Still on elections this evening, Global Info Analytics projects Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as winner for new Patriotic Party flag opposing camps, but opposing camps reject this forecast.
Musa is abusing the credibility he's built over the years to control public perception.
Also coming up tonight, Holder Holdings begins year 2026 with Thanksgiving service to roll path for a successful year. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, this evening on News Tonight. I am Tutuwaa Danso. Now, pollster and Executive Director of Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa, is predicting any last-minute shifts of camp in the upcoming New Patriotic Party's presidential primaries will likely take place between the camps of Kennedy Ohinejapon and Dr. Bryony Champon, or former President Bawumia emerged as a clear front-runner in the final pre-primary poll conducted by Global Info Analytics. According to the survey, Dr. Bawumia commands 48% support among party delegates, opening a wide lead over his closest challenger, Kennedy Ohinejapon, who trails with 25%. Now, businessman and flag-bearer hopeful Dr. Bryony Champon places third with 6% support. The poll signals a strong advantage for Dr. Bawumia as the party heads into its crucial primaries scheduled for January 31, 2026. However, the survey also shows that about 21% of delegates remain undecided or decline to disclose their voting preference, setting the stage for intense contestation in the final days of the race. Musa Dankwa, however, maintains Dr. Bawumia's camp remained steady, believing the overall outcome will not change. Now, sharply contrasting Global Info Analytics results, spokesperson for Kennedy Japon's camp, Kwesi Singh, says Musa Dankwa is abusing his credibility built over the years. The Kennedy camp also took the opportunity to reject the outcome of the polls.
The credibility he's built over the years to control public perception and voter perception for Dr. Bawumia. I don't know for whatsoever reason. We as Team Ken, irrespective of the respect that we place on Musa's work, this time around, we reject the outcome of his polls vehemently. We believe that in the current circumstance, other polls work. We have our own internal polls that we sponsored, and we are confident that on the election day we will win. This poll is just designed to control public perception, to elect Dr. Bawumia, who apparently, obviously, presents a weaker candidate and a weaker outlook for the 2028 election against the NDC, and we reject that.
Spokesperson for Kennedy Japon's camp, Kwesi Singh, also says that the team has sponsored an internal poll that points to a win for their confidence.
internal poll that we sponsored, and we are confident. We have our own internal poll that we sponsored, and we are confident that on election day we'll win. This poll is just designed to control public perception, to elect Dr. Bawumia, who apparently, obviously, presents a weaker candidate and a weaker outlook for the 2028 election against the NDC. And we reject that. We are very confident that the other internal polls that we've also sponsored favors us and gives us that confidence that 2026, 31st of January, candidate is going to win.
Well, let's place the focus on the governing NDC now, because internal competition within the party has commenced ahead of the March 2026.
With their preferred dates. Some aspire to know the legacy of the late lawmakers.
Every street of Nima and Ayawaso is the message to lead. It is time for young people in the streets to the world that they are capable. Exactly. It is time for young people to prioritize their own needs. Najib Mohammed Sani believes in representation. Najib Mohammed Sani believes in helping the people, and that is what I'm committed in doing. And on the ground, the people believe in Najib and will deliver. So, as you ask me, for Najib Mohammed Sani,
You don't see any law that says ambassadors cannot contest and testing, and inshallah he's winning. He's becoming the next MP of Iowa State.
She's the one who never wanted to contest for the seat. Contest. And in Islam, if someone is looking for something, that is what Islam tells us to do. We should investigate the person, and we see the qualities in that person. We should look at the person and make sure give out the leadership to that person to lead.
With nominations now open and campaigns expected to intensify in the coming days, all eyes will be on how the party manages internal competition as it prepares for the March 3 by-election. Benjamin Saki, GHOne TV and Star FM.
Well, that's my colleague Benjamin Saki with our reports there. But we are now in the studio by former press secretary of the late MP for Ayawa's East constituency, Salam Daru. He's also vying for the position to be the representative of members of Ayawaso East constituency in Parliament. It's good to have you in the studio this evening.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Great. You were able to pick your forms today.
Exactly.
How was the process for you?
So for me, I think the process was very smooth because the entire process was spearheaded by young people within the Nima and Ayawaso East constituency that believed that based on the track record of service to the community for the past 20 years, of my service to the community for the past 20 years, and then also having worked closely with the late Honorable, they feel this is the time for young people to contest and also represent the constituency. So it was actually the young people who went and actually purchased the form and do all the process.
You didn't give them the money to buy on your behalf?
Not at all. In fact,
they used their own money.
Exactly, exactly. And these are young people that I have mentored, that I've helped, created opportunities for them, got scholarships for them, helped some of them to acquire jobs. So naturally, they feel indebted to want to support me to get to that level so that a lot more other young people within the community can be able to enjoy some of the benefits of what we are doing.
You talk about the fact that the process was spearheaded by young people in your community because of your track record. What is the track record in the Iowa East constituency?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So from somewhere around 2006, I started community service actively. And from 2007 till now, I have built institutions, organizations, grassroots organizations that have mentored and opened up opportunities for young people. One, a lot of young people that have gone to secondary school, have gone to the universities, happened through our mentorship, direct mentorship. In terms of scholarship facilitations, in fact, just recently, I returned from the US and I came with a whole university from the US that had come into the community, for example, and did a scholarship abroad where we had quite over 50 young people from the community applying. Now, beyond that, beyond scholarship facilitations, one of the things I did was to establish the Yasalam Opportunity Center.
The Yasalam
Opportunity Center in the heart of the community. And if you go into the community and pick out of F5 young people, chances are that 3 of them have passed through the Opportunity Center, where we build capacity in terms of training, where we assist them to kind of promote themselves, build capacity, assess scholarships, assess opportunity. And then we also built the very first Zongo-based incubator hub. And we worked with the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan. We worked with local and international partners to the extent that we have people from NEMA today, through our initiatives, exporting their craft work all the way to the US. So these are the examples. A lot of the young people that you go into NEMA and they are doing quite a lot of things that you will be excited about were people that I mentored through our institutions. Okay. So this is the track record that we have, and this is consistent for 20 years.
When you were talking, you spoke about the fact that beyond the youth, appreciating what you've done for them in the community, this is also tied to the fact that you've worked with a former member of parliament who sadly lost his life. But don't you think on the basis of that, then some of the electors may decide to vote for his wife, Hadia Amina Adam, because she is a spouse. I'm sure she may have undertook a lot of developmental projects in the constituency as well. Why do you think you come tops when it comes to that?
That's a very good question. But out of respect for my mother, because Aja is my mother, working with the late Honorable, she supported really. But then the point is, the true legacy of Honorable Nasir Mahama Ture lies in the community, lies with the young people he has mentored. I really want us to amplify that aspect of the life of the late Honorable. His family is awesome. Ajia is fantastic, very supportive. But beyond the family, at the time I got the opportunity to work with the late Honorable, I had just completed university. And he was just entering into political space. To have that belief in me as a young person at that time and hand over responsibility of structuring the developmental activities in the community tells the kind of person Honorable Nasir Mahama Ture. And that is why I believe people like hers that have had the opportunity to enter into political limelight out of his belief for young people. This is the time for us to come out, to let the community, to let the world know that the Honorable Nasir Mahama Ture has mentored young people. So beyond what people know are young people. Look at all these track records that I'm talking about. This is because he has mentored us and he has promoted us and he has given us the opportunity. I was his secretary, working with him in the community and in parliament. At the time, I just come from the university. And today we've matured and been able to build track record and international clouds. I present and I represent global institutions and present globally. But it was because the late Honorable believed in me. So I think those are the legacies that he has left. And this is the time for us. It's not necessarily about who gets the nod. It's about telling the people some of the good works that he has done. And the late Honorable has left a good foundation. he has left a foundation that leadership has to be about service. He served the community to the best of his ability. And I believe we coming out today, when you look at the people who have come out, you will say this is somebody mentored by the late honorable. So I think that is a big tribute in itself that I am out.
But have you started campaigning already?
At this stage, the young people are already campaigning. You see, the streets are already calling for me. You know, everywhere you go.
So you haven't started campaigning?
The campaign is already there. I don't really have to campaign a lot because that is what the young people want.
So you will not go to them and tell them your message?
We will definitely go to them. We will definitely go to them. But you see, the party has structures and processes. Once the filing and everything is done successfully, now we enter officially into the space where the party will now give you the official nod to go and meet delegates. Obviously, we will do that. But we are not novice. People know us. The recent educational project that the late honorable did, I can say that is his last major project when he donated and gave students educational materials. I was there with him. I also supported and brought some items to donate. And it's in the middle of the community with the delegates and the constituents. So everybody knows what we can do. Everybody knows our capabilities, our track record, and what we can do. There is no doubt about that. What is most important for us is that at this material moment, young people from the community who have track record of service demands to be given opportunity. And we need to make that representation. If you look at the current presidency of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, it's young people across, and they are doing wonderfully well. The same kind of caliber of young people are in Nima. I sitting here, I'm a deputy chief nursing officer at the Kolebu teaching.
Deputy
chief nursing officer, and the acting head of nursing and midwifery audits. For the past 10 years, I have been involved directly in building and structuring an institution that never existed in Kolebu Teaching Hospital, which is into clinical auditing and monitoring and evaluation. Am I not competent enough?
One other thing that may be a roadblock for you is the fact that, in fact, there are rumors that you have dual citizenship. What's the truth to that?
No, I don't have any dual citizenship. I'm a full Ghanaian. You know, people are saying that because I frequent United States, and they think, you know, there are a lot of people who are looking for opportunity to go to the US and stay. And so when they see that you go and come, they think probably you have citizenship. I do not. I travel for programs, for events. I am a fully Ghanaian citizen.
Okay. Beyond the people of Ayawaso East wanting youth representation, we know there's also one very strong contender. That's the current ambassador to Nigeria, Baba Jamal. Are you not scared that if somebody like him goes into the contest, you may be booted out? Because he's been showing interest for some time now.
You know, I don't want to go head-to-head with the contestant, but I can tell you, you are a journalist. You are a media people. Amongst all the list of people who have contested, I want you people to do a research. Take my track record and see which one of them has a consistent community service for 5 years. Just 5 years. I said I have 20 years, and I can produce for you institutions, and I can point people in the community that have been beneficiaries of all of these initiatives for the last 20 years. Take them, the other contestants, and look for track record for the last 5 years or for the last 10 years of. So we are not really perturbed about who is coming or who is not coming. The most important thing is that young people at this material moment are calling for representation. We want to see one of our own, born, bred, and raised in the community, able to rise up to that level and stand in parliament and speak. And every young person in Nima, in Ayawaso East, will be excited and will believe in the fact that it is possible. The conditions of your birth or your family cannot in any way limit you. That's what young people in Ayawaso East are looking for. We're looking for that kind of positive acclamation to believe that it is possible. I was born and bred in Nima.
Okay. I think there are about 5 or 6 people that have shown interest, to contest for this particular election. But if you do not win, will you throw your support behind whoever is picked as the parliamentary candidate for the Ayawaso East constituency?
I think that is a given. I have always said that leadership is about service. It's not about title. For the last 20 years, I never even looked for any title. Most important thing is serving the people. But you see, in Islam, Once the people begin to call for you, it is now your natural duty to respond. I did not sit to plan that in my 2026 let me say action plan. I have to contest elections. It's not part of what I have planned for.
Right.
But it is the time. Young people, go on social media, do a media scoop and see the names that they are referring to. And these are young people who have benefited directly from our initiatives.
Okay. You are very emphatic on the impact you've had on young people. Roughly, or on the average, how many young people do you think you've impacted?
Interesting. For the last, so the Yahya Salaam Opportunity Center was established in 2017. Our record shows that we have impacted more than 40,000 young people in Ghana.
More than 40,000?
40,000. And you can track it. The data is there. I can show you all programs that we did and the number of beneficiaries. Everything, data is there. And this evening, there's a community conversation where I'm going to present and I'm going to show all of these details. So the numbers are there. I'm telling you, go into the community and pick young people. Chances are that many of them have passed through the Opportunity Center. Many of them have passed through our initiatives. And these are initiatives we've done in the community.
Okay. How confident are you that you win, and by what percentage?
No, I'm not a pollster. What I can say is that I believe in the call of the young people. So I believe emphatically that the delegates will speak and it will be an emphatic victory for us so that collectively we can represent the interests of young people in the constituency.
Okay, thank you so much for coming and I wish you absolute success. You just heard from Sani, I beg your pardon, the name is Salam Daru. He's a parliamentary candidate aspirant for the Ayawaso East constituency. Let's have a conversation now with a political analyst with the University of Cape Coast. That's Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otre. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you very much for your time this evening on News Tonight.
Good evening, Tutuwaa. I guess you forgot that I'm also the executive director of AISS.
I haven't forgotten. I'll add that next time. But thank you very much for your time this evening. Now, forms have finally been picked for the Ayawaso East by-election contest. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, probably other, interested parties may want to join. I think that since that particular constituency is a safe seat for the NDC, I expect a little more than 5. But, we have some interesting, aspirants wanting to emerge as winners for that particular constituency. Of course, His Excellency Mr. Baba Jamal, I'm told, the chairman of the constituency, I'm told.
Then there's also the former press secretary of the late MP.
And then the wife as well. Well, I think that in the case of the wife, I have made my views very known. I think that it is a very bad trend and a very bad practice. That is
the decision of the wife's contest is a bad decision.
Oh, yes. You see, it is not everything that, because we have right to do, we have to get ourselves engaged in. I mean, it frowns on our moral values. It is not appropriate that a wife that is mourning the dead in some few weeks ago want to engage in a partisan politics in which that terrain is very murky and bizarre, just to say the least. And how do you honor the dead? How do you, for me, disrespect your husband in that manner? Like, for example, look at the late Nana Kwame Rollins. The moment her husband died, she stopped engaging in partisan politics out of dire respect for her husband. Besides, in the immediate term, you are not supposed to do certain things. It is not as if you don't have that right. But you see, hoodwinking constituents using the pressing the emotional buttons here and there, I think that our politics and politicians, the leadership, you see, they must have a say on things of that nature. Look at Infantiman constituency. When the MP was brutally murdered, the wife emerged. The MPP executive thought it was that the wife was a policewoman should be the one to take over. She did. She got the sympathy vote. She won. The next time she lost. I'm very sure that her age, she resigned from the Nigerian police. Her age does not, to age 60. Right? Look at Ayawa West, who are gone. Lydia Hassan, she won. The next time. You see, when you force these people into some kind of political space, one natural fact, they've not prepared their minds to do things of that nature. These are some of the things that come up. But that apart, others, like example of others who have come, they have won, and they are still in the fray. Yes, but I am setting a standard that, look, when it comes to politics, that is so murky in this country, finding widows immediately, getting themselves in things of that nature. I mean, they have families. They should impress upon them that this is not the thing to do at this point in time. It is not even a year.
But Doc,
so
beyond...
for me, I disagree totally with things of that nature.
Okay.
Look, we must do politics of value. Is it a hereditary thing? Is it the case that the seat that your husband was occupying is not a family property? So why is it that your husband has passed on, unfortunately? Suddenly you also want to take over. Okay. I am trying to impress upon political leaders that things of that nature must not be encouraged.
Right. But beyond the issue of morality, what if ideally she is the best person to represent the people because she's been with her husband since he started representing the people in that constituency? She has a better grasp of, the nature of that constituency.
Tutuwaa, if not the death of Mr. Nazir, do you ever know the wife?
No.
Do you ever hear her name anywhere? What is her political experience? Well, it is the business of the constituent to decide. They should look out for competency, not a matter of sympathy vote. And some of these things, I see them as emotional blackmailing, and it should be discontinued.
But Doc, she could be competent, don't you agree?
She could come maybe in the next 3 or 4 years.
But now is not the time for her.
It is not.
Okay.
Do you know why? If she goes and she loses, that is a huge dishonor for the husband.
Right. I see. I know you haven't conducted any poll. In fact, you're not a pollster, but from the look of things, who do you think will likely emerge victorious at the end of the day?
Well, unless I do, in my case, I don't do poll. I do perceptional studies, and I have not done so for now.
Okay.
But, of course, those who are very visible already should be, obviously, the constituency chairman. He's been in the doldrums. He's worked hard with the MP. Of course, those who are behind the scenes ensure that people still stay in power, but you may not know the role they might have played. And so the same thing I said about Akutia by-election, I looked at that lawyer and I said that having listened and, conducted a few perceptional studies, about that place and the role the man has played in the past, and being the secretary of that constituency, obviously he may be the face of the constituency,
right,
and is more likely to win. Apart from the advantages that central government was going to give him, he also had that leverage, at his disposal, and which, of course, I did analysis that he was going to win and he won.
Okay.
So for now, Mr. Baba Jamal, he's been flip-flopping. He was one time an MP of Akwetia, is now coming for this particular seat. I think I don't know if he was part of those who contested, the late MP. I don't know.
He's contested before.
In that constituency?
In that constituency, yes.
Well, now being an ambassador, it also puts him in some kind of an advantage.
Right.
And of course, there were no contested Mr. Nasser. So I think that I would want to, if the woman is competent enough, so be it. But I've told you my disposition when it comes to things of that nature. But I'm looking at a chairman. Of course, a chairman that has been able to maintain an MP with throughout this period and with such huge numbers that the NDC got in that particular constituency, I think that he stands at an advantage.
Okay, Doc, thank you so much for your time this evening. That was Dr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere. He's a political analyst and the executive director for the African Institute of Strategic Studies. Away from politics this evening, the French Embassy in Ghana is calling for strengthened economic and strategic cooperation between France and Africa. The remarks were made at the third edition of the France Alumni Day, where alumni were invited to help strengthen bonds. The event held at the French Embassy in Accra brought together over 1,000 alumni to network, underscoring the strong link between France and Ghana in education, business, research and diplomacy.
The third France Alumni Day highlights the vitality and diversity of Ghana's growing France alumni community, organized within the framework of the Global France Alumni Network by the French Embassy in Ghana, Campus France, and the French Alumni Ghana Association. The events brought together professionals who have pursued academic studies, professional training, or research activities in France. Addressing the gathering, French Ambassador Designate to Ghana, Her Excellency Diarra Dime Labille, described alumni as key ambassadors of the France-Ghana partnership. She noted that through their work as teachers, entrepreneurs, researchers, artists, diplomats, and other professionals, alumni continue to drive development, innovation, and cooperation between both countries. Catherine Blavolochu is the president of the French Alumni of Ghana.
We offer access to a high-quality, culturally fluent, bilingual talent pool and a trusted platform for CSR, recruitment, innovation, and community engagement. This aligns with the France-Ghana cooperation, youth development, and shared prosperity. By partnering with FAGA, you are not only supporting an association, you are investing in people, in skills, and long-term impact.
The France Alumni Network currently boasts over 600,000 members worldwide, serving as a powerful platform for collaboration and shared opportunities. Some alumni also took the opportunity to showcase their fashion brands, reflecting the creativity and entrepreneurial spirit within the alumni community.
The Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly has cleared about 16 tons of waste in a cleanup exercise. The four-day exercise forms part of the Assembly's contribution to hygiene and improvement and restoring Accra as one of the cleanest cities in the country.
The Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly, as part of measures to make Accra the cleanest city, set out to rid gutters of filth, clear littered areas, and cut overgrown plants along paths. The exercise went into the residential areas too to rid spaces of filth. Municipal Chief of Ayawaso North, Haruna Mohammed Awal, revealed that strict measures will be applied to households whose frontage remain untidy.
As of this cleanup exercises, we've been able to evacuate about 16 tons of waste. 50% being plastic waste, 30% being waste made from food in the drainage system, and then 20% being the littering of the streets. Going forward, we are going to give strict measures to the households whose frontages are mostly being littered, and then they don't take care of it.
The MCE noted that the municipality is actively engaging residents who shy away from the exercise.
To the residents, to ensure we are able to collaborate and then keep the city clean, devoid of littering the streets and then indiscriminate dumpage of refuse within the municipality. Others who don't come out to help within these exercises are going to be invited. Most of them have been summoned to come and explain as to why they don't partake in this kind of exercises.
The 4-day exercise ended on Saturday, January 24, but will be scheduled for every month.
Now, every evening as the sun sets over Techiman-Zongo, residents shut their doors not against the night breeze, but against mosquitoes, stench and sickness. A drainage system meant to protect lives has instead become a threat, breeding disease and despair. We bring you Hamzata Idrisa's report on the daily struggles of families battling malaria and unbearable living conditions right in the heart of the municipality.
Once a vital public utility, drains in the Techiman-Zongo are now clogged with solid and liquid waste, creating stagnant water and a fertile breeding ground for mosquitoes. The air around the area is heavy with the smell of decay, making daily life difficult for residents and traders who operate close to the drain. For many residents, malaria has become a recurrent illness. Hospitals and clinics record frequent visits as families struggle to cope with mosquito bites, especially at night. Despite community cleanup exercises, some residents admit the drains have been neglected, hoping for a rainfall to wash the drain away. Residents are now calling for stricter enforcement of sanitation laws and more coordinated action from local authorities. In response, the municipal chief executive of Techiman South says the assembly is intensifying public education efforts while maintaining that sanitation remains a shared responsibility.
Those they will get to court, and we are also embarking on serious public education because these things are habits some of our people have acquired for far too long.
Scenes from Techiman-Zongo reflect a broader sanitation challenge facing several communities within the municipality. While the assembly, traditional leaders, and youth groups continue to work toward a cleaner environment, residents say lasting change will only come with a collective responsibility and strict enforcement.
Now, a session of Thanksgiving and praise was held to usher in a new year for the board, management and staff of Hoda Holdings and its subsidiaries, where the service was held in honor of the founder, Dr. Kwabena Dufo, and to celebrate the anniversaries of Star Assurance, Star Life Assurance and EIB Network. There's more details in this report.
In honor of a life of vision, excellence and impact of its founder, Dr. Kwabena Dufo, subsidiaries of Hoda Holdings came together in a service to celebrate with prayer and thanksgiving to God for the goodness of the Lord throughout the year. In a sermon at the service, head pastor of the Revival Restoration Assemblies of God Church, Apostle Dr. Alex Nkrumah, underscored the importance of appreciating God despite any circumstance.
When your mother dies, give thanks. When you are involved in an accident and you don't die, God has allowed it, give thanks. Because the Almighty God knows what He is working out for you. When you discover the will of God for your life and yield to Him, He gives you understanding to know how to live your life in constant and consistent obedience to Him.
3 subsidiaries of Hoda Holdings, Star Assurance, Star Life Assurance, and EIB Network had special thanks offerings for milestones of 40, 20, and 11 years, respectively. Chief Executive of Star Assurance, Boatma Bafo Ewa, expressed preparedness of the next generation in taking Hoda Holdings to greater heights, preserving the enviable legacy.
Glory to glory. Indeed, between 2017 and today, the group and the family have navigated significant changes and challenges, moments that tested resolve, demanded courage, and required uncommon strength. Yet through it all, God has proved himself faithful. We stand here as living witnesses that his grace is sufficient, his timing is perfect, and his mercies never fail. In the same spirit, we wish to sincerely acknowledge and thank the men of God who stood faithfully with the family and the group in prayer throughout these years. Your intercession, counsel, spiritual covering provided strength in difficult seasons and hope when the path seemed unclear. We are deeply grateful for your labor in the place of prayer, and we honor the role you played in helping to build our faith. Above all, this service is an expression of gratitude for the life, leadership, legacy of our visionary founder, Dr. Kwabena Dufo, whose courage to dream, discipline to build, and devotion to excellence has given rise to institutions that continue to serve Ghana with integrity and impact.
Hoda Holdings is the parent company of Star Assurance, Star Life Assurance, Star Micro, Star Health, Star Pensions, Telemedia, and EIB Network, among others.
Now, for many schoolgirls, the classroom becomes an impossible place to be, not because of a lack of interest in learning, but because of a natural biological process they cannot afford to manage. Menstrual hygiene has quietly kept countless girls out of school across Ghana. In Wenchi, a government intervention is now offering hope, dignity, and a reason for girls to stay in class.
Menstrual hygiene remains a major challenge affecting school attendance among girls in many parts of Africa, including Ghana. For years, the lack of access to sanitary products has forced many girls to stay away from school during their menstrual periods, affecting their confidence, academic performance, and in some cases, leading to school dropout and teenage pregnancy. To address the challenge, the government has rolled out the distribution of free sanitary pads to basic school girls as part of efforts to improve retention and safeguard the well-being of the girl child.
The president has promised that as far as he is in office, he's going to go according to the manifesto, and then whatever will release Ghanaians of heavy issues or anything that will impede girl child education. So I have strong belief and confidence in the president and the government that the government is going to deliver.
A total of 26,346 packs of sanitary pads have been presented to the Wenchi Municipal Education Directorate for onward distribution to girls in public schools across the municipality from Basic 5 to Basic 9. Each beneficiary received 2 packs of pads for the term, marking the second phase of the initiative. The municipal chief executive has appealed to the public to protect the integrity of the program, warning against the diversion or sale of the sanitary pads, while urging parents and guardians to support the program.
If you sell it, it means that in one way or the other, it's thievery. You have stolen from somewhere to sell. So the sanctions according to these clauses will be outlined or will be sanctioned to whoever goes against this instruction.
The Municipal Girl Child Coordinator, Gloria Opoku Jemfi, encouraged pupils to observe proper personal hygiene and remain focused on their education.
Let our girls be girls. Yes, let's leave them to acquire quality education. We are preparing them for the future. So they should also assist us rather than molesting them or sexually abusing them.
She also highlighted challenges such as the lack of changing rooms in some schools and financial difficulties faced by parents, calling on education stakeholders and communities to intensify support and protect young girls from harassment and abuse.
Because we have sanitary pads in the schools, which when they stain themselves in the schools, they use. So we need changing rooms for them.
Beneficiaries expressed gratitude to the government and the Wenche Municipal Assembly, describing the support as timely and life-saving. For these girls, access to sanitary pads is more than relief, it is dignity, confidence, and a chance to stay in school.
The National Youth Authority has stepped up efforts to prepare final year senior high school students for life after school with a strong focus on entrepreneurship, technical education and volunteerism, while the initiative aims to reduce youth unemployment and curb involvement in social vices by guiding students towards productive and self-reliant paths.
Is intensifying outreach programs targeted at third-year senior high school students as part of efforts to shape responsible and economically empowered young people. Officials of the authority engage students in entrepreneurship, technical and vocational education, and volunteerism, key areas identified as pathways to employment and national development.
We have to engage the young people for them to know what they have to do for themselves in life. Entrepreneurship is the way to go. And these are third-year students. So our aim is to visit them in the school so that as they get out there, they don't join those who are in the community, but they know their purpose for which they are out there.
The regional director of the Youth Employment Agency, Mustafa Omar Kopsen, cautioned the students against over-reliance on academic education alone.
We can't continue to do the same things and expect a different growth for our country. If we really want to present a better opportunities for our young people, we must reconscientize their minds and redirect them towards entrepreneurship. It should not always be about going through the various universities and then tertiary education, but rather through the Ejumero and Nkokon, at least these young folks can start something.
For students of Odimasma Senior High School, the initiative is welcomed. However, they use the opportunity to highlight challenges affecting teaching and learning in their school.
Sometimes 3 students share 2 chairs. This makes them very uncomfortable. And as we know, a serene and a sound environment encourages students to learn well. And also, there is an overcrowding in our dormitories. Some of the students even sleep on pavement.
The National Youth Authority states that it will continue to engage young people across the country as part of its efforts to build a skilled, responsible and productive youth population ready to contribute to national development.
Now, January may have just 31 days on the calendar, but on the streets of the capital, many say the month feels endless each year. Khadija Idi has the rest of the story.
Over the years, people have always complained about how long January feels. Today marks exactly 21st of the month, and we are touching base to find out how long or short this one feels for you.
It's very long because December inside, work used to come plenty. If you just come out now, you'll be working till night. You get, but now if you come out, you sit down more than 3-4 hours, no work. People are not coming to pick motor. So like if you come Krana, a day is like 1 month to you.
We workers have our 30th check and other pay earlier coming on. So before the January will start, most of your expenses have taken over the pay. Okay, so we expect the month to be going very fast. But today, as we speak, today is still 21st, and we've still not been paid. I wake up and I check my calendar to see if today is the end of the month.
January, I'm going to rent. School fees. To go be home soon, me Busia January. Oh, but Busia 2 cities because January, the Obia did sick. And before I bed 31st, and so they are some
January and Cockra.
So far, let me say it's okay and it's downtime. It depends on the work you are doing. Me, like they don't pay me a month. I'm a fashion designer, so it's like I pay myself. Yeah. So I think it's okay, and I think this January I've moved fast.
As you heard, people have different opinions about how long or short January actually is, but it's still 31 days in the month. Although today is the 21st, it all depends on how you plan. And also maybe financial constraints and how you put your things together. Reporting for GHOne News Star FM, Khadija Idi.
Certainly a few more days to end the month of January, but up next on the broadcast is the Business Brief.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Now, there are mixed reactions in Sunyani following the recent reduction in petroleum product prices as commuters insist transport fares should be reduced. While passengers are demanding immediate relief, transport operators argue that fuel prices alone do not determine transport fares. Kwesi Mejena reports.
The recent reduction in petroleum product price has triggered a debate in Sunyani, setting commuters against the transport operators over whether fares should be reviewed downward. Commuters argue that transport fares typically go up swiftly when fuel prices increase and say the same agency should apply now. Prices have dropped.
Fuel has been reduced, so it's up to also them to reduce the fares.
However, transport operators insist fuel accounts for only a portion of their operating cost.
Petrol any fuel any day at so, but ukodru magazine and I say okanya fault now ukodru ha. Nyama na ukoto dia be car no de same prices na enti anumom na higher intimate lorry fare na so no.
Uko magazine a nyama na ye toto no ho no. Car se nyama ne sa nyama na ye toto no. Ye sa ban ni di kan hwe sa nyama no. Etete so ema sa nyama ni nyina ba fam. Ansana yeso de no ye bete so a yate so.
Commuters have rejected the explanations, describing them as unfair and insensitive, especially at a time when many households are struggling with rising living costs.
When they come on board to indicate to us that because of the spare parts dealers, they've not reduced their prices, it doesn't augur well for the country. And it doesn't make sense in the old. They cannot justify this, which I don't want to say they are thieves, and which I don't want to say it doesn't make sense. So if they think it doesn't make sense, they have to change. If they think it is not a matter of stealing, they can change. If they think it's not a matter of robbery, they can change.
A visit to several garages in Sunyani appears to lend some weight to the claims of transport operators. Garage operators say prices of spare parts remain high, largely due to unchanged import duties and port charges.
Beye baby e kofa niam no so no kwa o mo chese duty na na wo ho no o mo nti duty so duty cry even cry no baby o ho bebre akosoro nti ama nipa no bebre cry kofa spare parts na suspend say ne pass no be kwa kofa na be ba form na o mo so kofa o mo timi dia man drivers
me invoice me tuma yi a chiro a de wo mo ana say be hwe say o mo a kofa no man free o mo ho no o mo mum e be teso amaye say be ya yeso be tima teso ama adawa for
e businessman for no mo kra ne ma ne ba no. So mo kraba na se bia ya teso kra dollar ba for ma ono oba want teso e maye.
As the standoff continues, commuters are calling for government intervention to help strike a balance between the concerns of transport operators and the financial burden on passengers.
Now, a civil society group, the New Voter Forum, is pushing back against mounting opposition against Ghana's planned smart ports nodes, insisting the policy is being misunderstood and dangerously politicized. At a press conference in Accra, the group called on traders and I beg your pardon, policymakers and the wider public to support the rollout of the system, arguing that it is critical to national security, trade transparency, and Ghana's economic credibility.
Ghana prepares to roll out the Smart Port Node on February 1, 2026. The policy has sparked intense debate among traders, importers, and logistics operators. At the center of the controversy is fear. Fear of rising costs, fear of delays, and fear that the system could become another burden on already struggling businesses. But the New Voter Forum says those fears are misplaced. Addressing journalists in Accra, the group described the Smart Port Node, known as SPN, not as a tax or levy, but as a data-driven trade facilitation tool designed to modernize Ghana's ports.
Having conducted our independent assessments through engagements with relevant stakeholders, we can confidently say SPN is a modern system that helps Ghana receive accurate cargo information before goods arrive at the port.
According to the group, the core problem lies in how Ghana currently manages cargo information. Much of the data about goods entering the country only becomes available after ships arrive at the port, a situation they say encourages misdeclaration, delays, weak security screening, and poor planning.
The implementation of SPN system will help Ghana address a number of problems affecting quality. To us, when information comes early, decisions are better and the systems work more smoothly.
The New Voter Forum argues this early visibility is critical for revenue forecasting, border security, and efficient port operations.
This situation affects governments, businesses, and the public. When ports work better, citizens feel the difference.
In a global system where funding, grants, and trade support are increasingly data-driven, the New Voter Forum says Ghana risks being left behind. The group maintains that SPN aligns with international best practices, Trade Facilitation Agreement, and the World Customs Organization's SAFE framework. The New Voter Forum is therefore calling on all stakeholders within the ports ecosystem to support the implementation of the SPN. They say countries that control their trade data grow stronger, while those that do not remain reactive, vulnerable.
That wraps up the business brief. Let's do GHOne now.
Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Algorithms decided what should trend, and dance tutorials came with ring lights and captions. Ghanaians were already setting the pace. Moves were learned in schools, perfected at house parties, and premiered on TV music videos. From a Zonto wave that swept the nation to global crazes like the Harlem Shake, dance was our original social media, a language spoken with shoulders, feet, and pure swagger. Today, we take you back to the moves that once ruled timelines, campuses, and celebrations, and explore how they shaped a generation that learned to express itself long before the scroll.
Before trends needed hashtags, our dance moves were already setting the tempo. Walked so others could run. In the late 90s and early 2000s, Pulele wasn't just a dance, it was a statement. Lively, unapologetic, and full of flair. It moved from street corners
So this bulletin was produced by Eko Boache and Evelyn Araba Edu. There's more news for you when you visit starfm.com.gh. Have a wonderful weekend.